way you can be infected with ZeuS is also spam. So you get the usual spam, which tells you, oh, you need to see this video from your, and you need to install a codec to see this video. And finally, it's not the codec you install, but a banking Trojan. So spam and drive-by infection. Also, you could get messages over Facebook and phishing, but the main infection ways for ZeuS are surely spam and drive-by infections. So the first part is done. You have infected the computers of the clients. Then you have to collect all this data. For this, you have a central command and control server where all the clients connect to and send their data. And basically, in this state, you only have to wait because the computers are already infected, and you just have to wait until they send the data to you. And at the end, all data is valuable. So in the case of ZeuS, it's a banking Trojan. But basically, it collects all information you put into your browser, so also email addresses and things like this, which you can make money out of. And later, if you have collected the data, you have to make really the money out of it. So for this, there are special forums where this data, this collected data, this stolen, is traded. And you can see you have for different kind of values, you have, or types of data, you have different kind of values. It's depending also on how much you buy or how valuable is this data. This is one way to make the money out of it, or you use some money mules. Money mule is somebody who doesn't know what he does. Basically, you also receive mails maybe for you work from internet only 1 hour each day and you get 1,000 euro out of it. So this is also basically, they are money mules. You have to open a bank account on your name, and finally, you make wire transfers to the cyber criminals, and what the police basically can trace back, if they find this was an illegal transaction, what they trace back is you, the money mule. No? So this is also a way for the cyber criminals not to get caught, but to make money out of this data they collected before. Competitors of the ZeuS Trojan are Sinoval, which is more. It's more huge. It has rootkit functionality and other things. There's also BankPatch and Limbo, which are like the competitors of ZeuS. So what is ZeuS, or Zbot, or Wsnpoem, all called? Finally, it's a botnet kit. You buy something and you get everything to build up your own botnet. It comes with a binary generator, so you have to configure the bots. Now you have to configure into them the command and control server where the data is sent to. Also, it has the possibility to update the config. Also, this gets configured, and everything is built into a binary, which is finally the file which infects the clients. It comes with a Dropzone. The Dropzone is basically the Dropzone, and the control panel is one thing. It's a PHP interface with a MySQL database as backend, and it combines the Dropzone, so the place where the stolen data is sent, and the infrastructure to access the clients. But let's begin from the beginning. So the origins of ZeuS, it's a hacker or a coder called A2Z, which began to code this banking Trojan, and his initial the initial idea of him was he wanted to sell his old Lada, his old car, and wanted to buy a Mercedes-Benz SLR sports coupe out of it. So what's about this guy? The guy is under the synonym A2Z. It's believed to be a Russian guy. It's a really high-skilled coder because it takes a lot to make something like this, the ZeuS Trojan. In the beginning, he made it. It was one guy who made it, and he's only a coder, so he doesn't do anything with stealing the data from the clients. Even when he sells you his product, he tells you, I suppose you to don't do any bad stuff with it, which is kind of funny because it's only made to steal data. No? And he's only a coder, and as he's assumed to live in Russia, he can live large. It seems like that the police, that only coders are a low priority for Russian police. So it seems like he can live large. And his most famous creation is ZeuS, about what we are talking today. So, like I already said, he presumes his clients to use his product only for legal interviews. He's well-spoken and business-savvy, so he always tries to make a good image and is discreet, and it's a professional guy, a really professional guy. He knows what he does. So about the builder. The builder is a program, like I said before, where you configure basic things into the bot. So the bot which gets installed in the computers. Here you can see it. What it needs is a config file, and you click build it, and you have your binary. The builder is also, it has some random packing inside, and it's quite small. It's about 70 or 80 kilobytes. So it's finally a small thing which only is made for changing some small things into the bot and generate it finally. So the features of ZeuS, it grabs all form data. So everything you put in your browser, it may collect and it does it, in fact. It has key logger functionality. It is able to inject code into your internet pages you see in your browser, and only needs a config for special sites. So if it needs to grab only form data, you don't need a special config. The special config is only for special sites which are more difficult for the Trojan to access to the data, but we will look later when we come to the config. You can also use it as a SOX proxy, so if the cyber criminal has built up his botnet and has a lot of infected computers, he can actually use these infected computers as a SOX proxy. So to hide his actions and to make it impossible to track him, or to make it not impossible but more difficult, he can use with ZeuS the infected clients as a SOX proxy. It's capable of doing screenshots of the virtual keyboards, and it's also able to update the binary and the config of the bot. From the manual, there's also a manual which comes with the ZeuS pack. Also it says it's programmed. It's not like the typical BHO Trojan where you operate basically on browser level. So you use the COM model to write a BHO and steal data with this. No, he really used only the Windows API to make all the functionality it has. This is also from the manual. The main programming goals are stability, size, and speed. And really, the real bot is about 60 kilobyte, and he really does what he says here. So it's really a stable thing what he does. So 2009 was a very active year. He made a lot of changes in the infrastructure, some changes in the bot, but mainly also in the command and control server. And one of the main improvements, you can say, this year was to introduce RC4, the standard encryption, which is used in the config and when the client sends the stolen data to the command and control server. This is encrypted, so everywhere you have communication from the bot, it's encrypted with RC4. And this year, also, he rewrote the control panel. We will see later this control panel, how it looks like. Okay, so the client, the bot, like I said, is a SOX proxy. So the thing, if you want to use infected client as a SOX proxy, it's clear the infected client has to have an official IP address. IP address needs to be accessible from the internet. For this, because today you are behind a router or something like this, which makes NAT, which makes this